Googly moogly, you're watching Bet Edge. My name is Sean Carrier. Thank you for tuning in. The NHL playoffs in full swing. We're heading into round 2, and that means we're looking for betting opportunities here at Bet Edge. And there's a second round series that we think is chock full of great betting opportunities. So let's dive right in. The Nashville Predators taking on the St. Louis Blues with a spot in the Western Conference Finals at stake. We expect this to be a great series. So let's start breaking it down. These two teams met 5 times in the regular season, Nashville winning 3 of those 5 meetings. So definitely a slight edge there to the Predators in terms of the recent history. But the real strong play, at least in betting terms, in this regular season series was the under. The under, a strong 3-1-1 in this regular season series. In each and every game was posted at 5. So you never saw 5.5 or 6. And so the bookmakers knew that these two teams should provide a low-scoring affair, and they were dead on. I mean, they just couldn't post it low enough. I mean, you're rarely ever going to see that 4.5. I would expect to see the total posted at 5 each and every game in this series. And we'll probably be on that under. I mean, even in these teams' first-round series, the under, a combined 6-1-3 in each of these teams' first-round series. So they get great goaltending. Both these teams play great defense. They do not provide their opponents with a bunch of scoring opportunities, and we expect that to really carry forward here in this playoff series. As we said, if you're betting the under in the regular season series or each of these teams' first-round series, you are making money. We expect that to continue. We'll be on the under each and every single game of this series, unless otherwise notified. I mean, definitely check the Twitter page. If we see something in this series that kind of drives us the other way, we'll put it up there. But as of right now, I expect the under to be a very strong play in this series. We'll be on it pretty much each and every single game. But who's going to win? Let's start breaking it down. Let's dive into this stat graphic here. The goals for, a slight nod to the Nashville Predators there, 2.9 goals for compared to St. Louis's 2.84. Goals against St. Louis with a slight edge there, 2.63 to the Predators' 2.68. So combined, these numbers a very similar. Really not too much of an edge here. Just in the goals for, goals against. Nashville does hold an edge in the face-off percentage, but St. Louis with edges in both of the special teams stats there. So there's not too much of an edge here. I mean, those special teams advantages for St. Louis are real, but Nashville looked to have those sorted out in the first round. I believe they only surrendered 1 power play goal in 9 opportunities to the Chicago Blackhawks, and scored their fair share against the Hawks as well. But for me, the real kicker, the real game changer in this series should be discipline. If you look at St. Louis here, time spent on the penalty kill, 444 minutes, the 4th highest in the National Hockey League. Just a lack of discipline for the St. Louis team. They take penalties in bunches, and that continued in their first round series against Minnesota. St. Louis gave up 18 power plays in the first round against the Minnesota Wild. If you compare that to Nashville only giving up 9 power plays to a much better Chicago Blackhawks team, I mean, let's be honest. And they only played 1 less game and surrendered half the amount of power plays. So if we see this continue, which I really expect it should, just based on the huge sample size of this entire season, I think that's the game changer for us here. St. Louis is going to take a few too many penalties, and Nashville is going to make them pay. If you watch that first round series, the way they had their power play and first line clicking, that Forsberg, Arvidsson, Johansson line, in my opinion, was the best line across the first round of the NHL playoffs. They were outplaying Jonathan Toews and whoever they put on his line, even when they stacked Toews and Kane together. They just did not have an answer for that Nashville first line. If that continues, that dominance continues here into the second round, I would look for Nashville to advance. I think, in my estimation, they definitely have the edge on the blue line. They're one of the rare teams here in the NHL that has the benefit of always having an all-star defenseman on the ice at pretty much all times, either PK Subban or Roman Josi. They split those guys up, and it's a great idea. They have an elite defenseman on the ice at all times, and they have other great depth defensemen as well. I mean, Ryan Ellis, absolutely no slouch. There's lots of teams that would love to have Ryan Ellis on their blue line. So yeah, in my estimation, definitely a nod to the Predators on the blue line, and I think their first line, a better first line than St. Louis is also. I mean, Tarasenko probably the overall best forward in this series, but I would take the first line again. I'm taking Nashville every single time. So, sorry about that. That leads us to our best bets for this series. We'll be on the under each and every single game. It should be posted at 5, and we expect that to be a moneymaker for us. So check the Twitter page. We'll be posting that up every single day. We do a card with our best bets, and that should be on it each and every single time these two teams play, unless otherwise notified. So check the Twitter page at bet_edge. I'll definitely post a link in the description below. In terms of this series, if you like Nashville to advance over the St. Louis Blues, don't lay the 80 cents for Nashville to just win the series. A much stronger bet, Nashville to win the West at 4.5 to 1. You'd basically be getting 2.5 to 1 in the next series, whoever they face. It would be either Anaheim or Edmonton. In my estimation, I cannot see them being priced that high against either one of those teams, especially if this Nashville team is fresh off dispatching the Chicago Blackhawks and the St. Louis Blues. I would expect them to probably be a favorite or just about 2 to 1 against either one of those teams. And if you take them to win the West now and they get to that series, you'll be getting a much, much better price. I think there's immense value there if you like Nashville to advance in this series, as we do. So we'll be pulling the trigger. Nashville to win the West, 4.5 to 1. I think there's some great value there. And then the under in each and every single game in this series should definitely be a great return on investment there. So those are our bets for this series. We really hope that it helps any bet you're thinking of making here in the NHL playoffs. If there's another series you'd like us to break down or have any comments or questions, definitely get at us on Twitter at bet_edge. All of our bets, videos, picks get posted up there, and it's all absolutely free. So get at us on Twitter at bet_edge. I'll definitely post a link in the description below. So as always, guys, thank you for tuning in. Good night and good luck.